한국 최고 조초 안데 모두 잡다라 많이 그래 버스는 때와 한국 최고 조초 선계 상대 마시나 다다 동아 선대장 관계 최고 조초 선계 상대 마시나 다다 동아 선대장 last one I didn't 다다 동아 선대장 가자 대수대 가자 정대 올해 다들 섬이 기능을 잡사 올해 다들 섬이 기능을 잡 so I just conclude here 관계 최고 조조 the main thing the main dharma the secrecy of the mind. Secrecy of the mind. If you don't know, the sentient beings, wishes to achieve happiness and to eliminate the sufferings, but without meaning. They wander in samsara, wander. Generous, that's a wander in samsara. This is what happens if you don't know the secrecy of the mind. So I want to tell you, those who want happiness in their life, you must know this. Those who want happiness in their life. If you don't want happiness, it's different. If you want happiness, you must know this. You must write down this in your diary book. The principle of the Dhamma concrete, so the persons, the person, sentient. And the principle of Dhamma, the secrecy of the mind. So that I explained already, so the motivation. So the thought seeking happiness, future life, then thought seeking the liberation of samsara, the thought seeking enlightenment, the pillars happiness. So that's secrets of the mind. So so the thought seeking enlightenment, seeking the pillars happiness, then they achieve enlightenment, pillars happiness. Then thought seeking liberation, then you achieve that. Ultimate happiness, the blissful state prevails. Then thought seeking happiness in life, other than that, means to achieve, I say, happiness while you are in samsara. If you're looking for happiness, if you want happiness, sing that much. If you don't know this, secret the mind, that's all too much. If you desire to achieve happiness and eliminate suffering, but This is what you desire, you have it. But without knowing this, then you wander in samsara. We have been wandering in samsara from beginningless rebirth, not just this life. From beginningless rebirth, we have been wandering in samsara. And it's been suffering from beginningless. It's suffering, it's realm, hell, hunger, animal, human being, sura, asura, then if you still don't know, Dhamma, then we wander in samsara endlessly and experience all the suffering without end. Without end. That's okay, so so on to mention this, what Buddha said in Dhammapada. Yeah, to remember the beginning part. With members of that. The principle of Dhamma, I think, Chernam, Chernam, similar to what all the phenomena came from the mind. Chernam, similar to what all the phenomena came from the mind. And sin is searching on the draw. Mind is the principle. On the draw is preliminary. Body, speech, mind, you can say. simni tsushi ngundu zho. Called the Samsung Tonani, for example, by bringing up the good heart. Missing China, Midela, there was just a Dhammapada, Lugage's Timashins. Then, bring up a good heart. Then, example, you speak to somebody with a good heart. So, then you see the action as a meeting channel, Midala. Then you talk to somebody. They want to talk. Then follows happiness. Look at just too much. That's the example where the body goes, shadow goes. Shadow follows. So with the good heart, speaking to somebody is the example. So whatever action with body, speech, mind you do, then become a good karma. So result, happiness. Or rise from that, only happiness, not suffering. So where the body goes, the shadow follows, like that. So it means, so that means all your happiness comes from the mind, comes from your mind, the good heart, virtue thought, healthy mind. So similar what is mentioned in the Dhammapada, I recited before, same. So all those are different levels of happiness, including enlightenment. Everything comes from your good heart. So even the happiness in this life come from good heart, come from the virtue, the positive, the healthy mind. Correct thought. But that, even today's happiness. So now similar, and now similar, all the phenomena come from the mind. Simni Tsushung, the mind's principle and the preliminary. By called the singing tone, by bringing up bad thought, bad heart. You talk to the person. Then what comes? Suffering rises. Language is collisions. Example, the ox. After that, kata, what do you call? Chat, car, after the ox, then cart, like that. So means you see, with the negative mind, the bad heart, then you talk somebody become non-virtue. With the mind is non-virtue, so the action to talking somebody become non-virtue. So from that, only suffering rises result. That's like the ox then had to pull out this very heavy cart you know, so sometimes you see the bar irons, you know, so many bar irons carried, and people sit on top, you know. So until you can move, you can walk. So then what was bidden, you see? If you don't walk, bidden. So until you can get up, walk. Then the Kasura say, wow, that's so hard, you know, can you imagine, you know, you can't, they can't do human language, I mean, they can't express your feelings, So, like that example, so therefore, see, all the sufferings, all the, come from your mind, all your suffering, all the 60 elements, you know, suffering of this life, human, all come from your mind. Your negative thought, wrong way of thinking, unhealthy way of thinking, which doesn't bring the... so, definition of delusion is which has a function that your own mental continuum unsubdued. Unsubdued, which that's the function. So delusion does that, makes your mind unsubdued. So no peace, no happiness, peace, you see? Oh, so so, wrong thought, wrong way of thinking. So brings unhappiness, so causes all those sufferings. So came from your mind. All the problems came from your mind. Here, you see, normally, we think all the problems, whatever, came from others, came from parents, came from, you know, the husband came from wife, you know, always blame others, always came from, you see, like this, all the time. So totally, where the suffering came from, totally you made mistake. Was the root of suffering, but outside. Never think your mind, never think yourself. Creator of suffering to yourself, never think. Never. Only others. You are suffering, creator of others. Even you believe God, but God created everything, but you, someone, when you have a problem, you think others. All the others kill, others chop pieces. You see? As soon as possible. So in reality, others ones from whom you get all your past, present, future happiness. Everything. From everybody, every human being, every helping, every ungod, every animal, every sura, from everyone. You get every single happiness. All the happiness future life, liberation, enlightenment, everything comes from others. Then you chop, you do everything, you know? So think that problems come from others. It came from you, but never, because you don't Dhamma, so even you know Dhamma intellectually, but you see in your daily life, you think all the problems always came from others. Always. Even you know Dhamma intellectually. Yes, you think that. Even though you've been studying Dhamma for your whole life, but all in become intellectual. You know, just The brain is like computer, feeding the computer like that, you see, with many information like that. Your brain uses that. So never practice. The minute problem is come from others. Root is others. So even studying Dhammapada, but yes. But you learn Dhammapada, yes. But then you see everyday life, this is your belief, total wrong belief. Total wrong belief. Same as the people who never met Dhamma, most people in the world never met Dhamma. There's no Dhamma. I mean, same as animal. Same as animals, same as snakes, same as tigers. I mean, same. Said before. And strong that kindness. That is the reality, and that's the practice. Put all the blame to oneself. That's the self-sufficient thought, selfish mind. That is. Then you see blames for that, then you subdue that. From where all the suffering come, past, present, future, all the suffering come, all the obstacles, all the bad things, all the bad luck, so everything comes from. Subdue that. The others be kind, benefit. To not harm, benefit. From them, all past, present, all the happiness comes. Yeah. So maybe I just mentioned just quick. I did mention many times in the past, but since might forget and may not remember, or first time to hear or whatever. So anyway, how all your past, present, future happiness can receive from every sentient being. So now the person was angry to you. Person who is angry to you, who abuse you, okay? So he or she is obscured mind and suffering. So due to that, the compassion is generated. From compassion, the bodhicitta comes. Thought is enlightenment for sentiment. Straight enlightenment to a person. So that comes bodhicitta. From bodhicitta, bodhisattva comes. From bodhisattva, Buddha comes. From Buddha, the two holy actions. One holy action Buddha is within us sentient beings. All our virtuous actions are Buddha's holy action. And one holy action is only Buddha's own omniscient mind, only Buddha's holy mind. But it's like two holy actions of Buddha. So the Buddha's holy action that within us sentient beings. So all our good karma is that. So from good karma, all the past, present, future happiness, even including enlightenment, everything came from that. Even the happiness in the dream. So that means every single past, from beginningless, every single past, present, future, all the happiness received from this one who is angry to you or abuse you, go from that. So totally came from that. So this is so therefore, please we meditate on this. Okay, just think this. All three-time happiness came from the person who angry or obscure, abuse you, and that came from that, including enlightenment. Now we think that, meditate on that. Especially, the cessation of suffering and the cause of suffering. This blissful state of peace forever. This all receive from that who's angry to you, whom you call enemy, and who abuse you. So just come from that. So with suffering of succession, continuation, there is no continuation. From beginningless rebirth you suffered. From beginningless rebirth you suffered. On. So now you see total cessation of that. The ultimate happiness, forever. Received from that sentient being who's angry to me, whom I call enemy, and who abused me. About that. Wow. So even compare that, the person angry to me is nothing. Abuse me, nothing. It's kindness. Give me the liberation of samsara, happiness forever. Wow. Amazing. You get from that person. Then enlightenment, peerless happiness, total cessation of the obscuration, mistakes of mind, completion realization. So you get from that person. Then, by achieving that from that person, then you become you fully qualified. You free the numberless sentient beings, each realm, 6 realms in each realm, numberless sentient beings. You free from oceans of suffering, samsara. You see, you're able to free a numberless sentient beings in each realm, free from the oceans of samsara suffering. That kindness from him or her. Who get angry to me, whom I call enemy, and whom I want to harm, and who abuse me, that. But what kindness, what kindness. Lama, what kindness the person. Wow. Kindness. Then I'm able to bring every single sentient being from each realm, numberless sentient beings, bring to enlightenment. Papa, this kindness came from her or him. So, because they're angry to me, whom I call enemy, want to harm, or harmed, want to harm, and then was abuse me. That. The kindness, here the kindness. Wow. That's angry more abusement, nothing. The kindness. I can bring everyone to enlightenment. How him who are angry or they abuse me. Wow, amazing. So now, this is a most precious one. This is the most precious one. And this is the most kind one to me. This sentient being is the most kind one to me. And most dear to me. And which fulfill my wish fulfilling. This person is, this sentient being is my wish fulfilling. All the wish fulfilling. Wow. So like this now, all the sentient beings like this, from everyone, every helping, every hungry person, every animal, tiniest, can't see with the eye, but with the machine, tiniest. Then human beings, Sura, Asura, everyone, those who live in the water, ocean, live in the underground, and on the bushes, on the trees. Live in the bushes, and then human beings, Sura, Asura, so everyone is there. And I receive all my paths from beginning to but all the happiness now and happiness future, until enlightenment, everything I receive from every sentient being. From every sentient being, every helpings, every hunger cause, every helpings, think now, every helpings, every hunger cause. every animal. Every human being. So when you go out, people in the restaurant, people in the car, practice mindfulness, kindness. Your numberless happiness from beginningless rebirth now, future, up to enlightenment, all the happiness which I mentioned through, up to enlightenment, everything came from everyone. Everybody in the restaurant, everybody in the road, in the car, so it can receive from everybody. Child, old man, animals, dogs, cats, or the flies, mosquitoes. So from everyone, you think. So while you're walking, going back to home, so practice mindfulness of that. So you see, so now the conclusion, what should I do to not harm and best to benefit sentient beings? Well, then you say, what should I do? Then they say, I must achieve enlightenment for them. So then, without effort, you can do. Is understanding all they can read in every second, all the sentences, number of sentences in their mind can read them. And every suffering what they have. And every method that fits exactly to them to bring from happiness to enlightenment. So you know all the methods. And you can reveal without an effort. With the borders to the mind. You have infinite compassion, embracing all sentient beings. You have omniscience. You have a perfect power. So now to achieve that, then you need to actualize Lamrim. From character falling words to friend and the renunciation bodhits that I do, common path, uncommon two stages. So you need to actualize this. That's it. So this is the conclusion. This is the best thing. So to practice Dhamma, to actualize Lamrim. This is the best thing. This, what you need to do is that. What you need to do is that. Every day, as much as possible, then practice Lamrim. Because every day, as I mentioned before, they gradually learn Lamrim, and then, of course, then the old students have learned Lamrim, and extensive subjects. So then those others who then meditate on the stages, on the different level of meditation. So train the mind in that. Along with the preliminary practice, trying to make the mind closer to Lama realization, path to enlightenment. Oh, that's what I should do? Wow, that's the answer. That's the answer. So, yeah. Oh, that's the answer. Oh, yeah.